With the Sun 33 is a flat earther who is adamant that the Earth is flat. I mean, most of them are, but this guy is something else. So when I saw a video from him that asks us if we want to know the facts about whether or not the Earth is moving, I simply couldn't resist. Hello all and welcome along to another video with me, Dan. Thanks very much for joining me. Before we begin with today's video though, I was reading earlier how a study has revealed that the Artemis astronauts will land in the moon's ancient impact zones. And I was reading that story on Ground News, which was actually founded by a former NASA engineer called Harleen Kaur who worked on the James Webb Space Telescope. Now, Ground News combines stories and articles from thousands of outlets, local and national, in one place so readers can see the full picture of what's being reported around the world. As you can see here, Ground News shows you that if there's any political leanings for each publication. And in this instance here, we can see that it's mainly centre driven with 31 total news sources. Now, for every story, you get a quick visual breakdown of the news outlet that's covering it, what their political bias is, how factual the source is, which entity owns that source and which countries are covering the story. And Ground News is also gaining notoriety for its work. They were recently recognised by the Nobel Peace Centre for their impact on media literacy, saying it's an excellent way to stay informed, avoid echo chambers and expand your worldview, which is exactly why we use Ground News too. You can see every side to every story with access to international perspectives that are hard to find, so then you can make informed decisions where you can read, watch and share the best information available. And Ground News is also mission-centric. It's not about eliminating bias, but providing better transparency. And they're funded by the community, not by ads or big investors. So go to ground.news/Simon to stay fully informed on breaking news and compare media coverage. Subscribe through my link in the description for 40% off unlimited access if you support the mission and find it useful as I do. Right, on with today's video then, which as I said in the intro comes from With the Sun 33. He's telling us apparently that the Earth is definitely geocentric. Here we go.
Did you know that on a Gleason map it actually shows you exactly what the sun is doing, and it shows you that the sun is in fact moving, not the Earth. It explains that the sun goes around in a circle and the Earth is huge. So when the sun is setting and it looks like it's going over the curve of the Earth, it's just going out of your view.
If the Earth really were laid out like this flat map, flights like Santiago to Sydney would take twice as long, and we'd never see phenomena like 24-hour daylight in Antarctica, which we obviously do.
Now, most people don't realize when they look at the beach and they look out to the horizon line, which is the line you see, the farthest that you can see the ocean, that line where the sky and the ocean come together, that is the horizon. That line that you're seeing, that horizon, that line, that's about 3 miles away. It's not that far. Our eyes are very limited on what we see in the first place. Never mind when you have trees and mountains and all sorts of stuff in the way, you're not going to see far.
At sea level, the horizon is roughly around 3 miles away because the Earth curves downward out of view. But climb a hill or go up in a plane and suddenly you can see tens or even hundreds of miles further. And that's because you've gained height above a curved surface. On a flat Earth, the horizon wouldn't rise and fall with altitude. It would just extend endlessly, and you'd see objects like ships and coastlines no matter how far away they were. Instead, we see them disappear bottom first, exactly what you'd expect on a globe.
So when people ask me, well, how come I can't see the sun all day long? You should be able to see it 24/7 if the Earth is flat. No, you shouldn't at all, not at all. That's how perspective works. Okay, go stand on a street that goes straight down, a straight street, and look at the telephone poles. You'll notice that the telephone poles look like they're going around a curve. They get smaller and smaller and smaller. That is how our eyes work. That is perspective. That's it.
Perspective doesn't make things vanish below the horizon. It just makes them appear smaller. The sun doesn't shrink off into the distance like streetlights on a road. It actually sets, disappearing entirely. If the sun really were circling above a flat plane, it would simply get smaller and dimmer, but always remain visible. Yes, even at night. Yet we can watch it sink below the ocean edge, reappear when viewed from higher up, and see sunsets happen at different times depending on your location. Again, all perfectly explained by Earth's curvature.
It's not that we live on a ball. And there are a lot of proofs that we do not live on a spinning rock. A lot.
When he says a lot, he of course means none.
Now, if you take a compass, for example, if you take a compass, the reason why they work is because they're attracted to the magnetic north. Now, if you take a magnet and put the magnet in the middle of a table and put the compass near it, the north will point towards the magnet. You can spin the compass around. The compass will face north, okay? No matter how many times you spin it around.
That part's fine. A compass does indeed point towards magnetic north. But that's got nothing to do with Earth being flat. The compass works because Earth itself acts like a giant magnetic dipole, with magnetic field lines running between the north and south magnetic poles. On a flat Earth, the magnetic field model completely collapses. If the North Pole were at the centre of a disk and there was no South Pole, the compass would spin in chaos once you travelled too far south. Yet in reality, as you cross the equator, your compass still works perfectly fine. It simply reverses direction when you pass into another hemisphere. Now that of course is only possible on a spherical magnetic field.
Now if you flip the magnet over, what happens is the compass all of a sudden switches and south will face the magnet. And no matter how you spin around, south will face the magnet. And we do not have a magnetic south pole. So compasses and magnets prove that we do not live on a ball.
We absolutely do have a magnetic South Pole. We visited it, mapped it, and measured its shifting position over time. Just like the magnetic North Pole, it moves as Earth's magnetic core changes, which is why navigational charts are constantly updated.
Now, there's a reason why circumnavigation is called circumnavigation. The root word circ is a circle, okay? A circle is not three-dimensional. All right, a sphere and a circle are two different things.
Yes, but when you circumnavigate the globe, your route is a two-dimensional shape, a circle.
When they say that the Earth, the circumference of the Earth, okay, that doesn't mean the Earth is a ball. There is a circumference to a circle, and a circle is flat and two-dimensional.
There's also a circumference to a sphere, which is not a two-dimensional shape.
The Bible speaks about the earth not moving, okay? It says it's set in its foundations, never to be moved. And actual science, when you really do science, when you do some experiments and try and learn, one thing you'll realize is it's harder to prove that we are living on a spinning rock than it is to prove that we are living on a flat surface.
The Bible is a book of faith, not a physics textbook. When it says the earth is set on foundations, it's using ancient metaphorical language, not describing orbital mechanics. And as for science struggling to prove that Earth spins, it's one of the easiest things to demonstrate. Foucault's pendulum swings in a different direction depending on your latitude. Gyroscopes maintain orientation as the Earth rotates beneath them. And the Coriolis effect explains how hurricanes spin different directions in different hemispheres. Every one of those phenomena requires a rotating Earth.
Even this experiment here that they did, the Michellet-Morrison or whatever experiment, they tried to do an experiment using light rays and everything to prove that we were spinning. And what it ended up proving is that there was absolutely no motion. And they turned that experiment around to say that, oh, it's because they're proving that there's no ether. There's no motion to the ether. There's no ether. When we all know that's total BS.
The goal of that experiment wasn't to detect Earth's spin. It was to measure Earth's motion through the hypothetical luminiferous ether, which scientists once thought light needed to travel through. When Michelson and Morley found no difference in the speed of light in any direction, they didn't prove no motion, they proved that ether doesn't exist at all. That result was monumental. It paved the way for Einstein's theory of relativity, which explained that the speed of light is constant for all observers. Precisely because the Earth is moving through space, not through any medium.
You can harness the energy from the sky. I know we've all seen videos on this by now, and if you haven't, just look it up. Harnessing the ether to use it for energy. So the lies never seem to end.
Harnessing the ether to use it for energy? Well, that's a new one on me. We'll definitely have to have a look at that.
The problem again is that a lot of people believe in the heliocentric model because that is what we are taught in school. But I believe that what we're going to start seeing, because we obviously have a situation here where people are beginning to really have a distrust for the federal government. When you understand that all of the books that we learned from, all of the school material, that is federally funded material. Okay, so why would you trust that but not trust the government? Like, none of it makes any sense. You got to understand they're lying about everything. That's just the way it goes.
This is a classic conspiracy pivot. When evidence fails, blame the system. The problem is, of course, science doesn't depend on government approval or a set of textbooks. The heliocentric model wasn't created by a government committee. It was built on centuries of independent observation by people like Copernicus, Galileo, Kepler, Newton, and later confirmed by astronomers all over the globe.
The books that we get for school they're printed by a printing press called Pergamon Press. Ghislaine Maxwell's father, and you all know who Ghislaine Maxwell is at this point. Her father, Robert Maxwell, who is well known for being connected to Mossad and the CIA, that is his printing press that he owns, that we get our school books from. So it doesn't surprise me that everything's a lie. Then when you really begin to learn that NASA was invented by the Nazis, the CIA, same thing.
This is pure conspiracy word salad. Random names thrown together and mixed with paranoia until it looks like some sort of pattern. Pergamon Press was a real publisher, founded by Robert Maxwell, yes, but it never had a monopoly on printing school textbooks. It mainly published academic journals. There are countless other publishers that print educational material worldwide. As for the NASA was invented by Nazis line, NASA, of course, was established in 1958 as a civilian agency. Yes, some former engineers from Germany who worked on rockets in World War II did join NASA, but they were a tiny fraction of the workforce, not the founders. Now, with the Sun 33 then spends the remaining 3 minutes of his video plugging his website and his books, which none of you really need to see, really, do you? He didn't really offer anything substantial in his video at the end there, did he? Very, very disappointing. Just conspiratorial nonsense as usual. So there we go. I'm going to wrap this one up for another video. Please do let me know in the comments below what you thought as I say we're all done and dusted for another one. Thanks so much for watching today. It's very much appreciated. If you enjoyed it, please do consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the thumbs up button too. Just enough time to once again thank Ground News for sponsoring today's video. Remember, go to ground.news/Simon, stay fully informed on breaking news and compare media coverage. Click the link in the description to subscribe for 40% off unlimited access if you support the mission and find it as useful as I do. I've been Simon Dan. Have yourselves a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow for the return of CC. Can't wait. See you then.